All right, let's hear it.
This is Kickin Streamin Podcast, a binge watcher's guide to streaming movies, TV series, and stuff. Here are your hosts, Graham and Jocelyn.
And hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Kickin Streamin Podcast. My name is Graham, and with me today, of course, is the very absolutely fantastic Jojo, to whom I always say, hello, Jojo.
Hello, Graham. How are you?
Jojo, I'm doing okay. So we are back this week. We had to take a little break last week. It seems like we've taken more breaks this year than we would like to, that we're accustomed to. And it's not necessarily always our fault. It's because, stuff happened, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right. I mean, this is like the first year where things, you could say, have been ever so slightly back to normal after COVID.
Yes.
Not that things completely are, but yeah, you still got some stuff to iron out and things to work through and lots of changes for both of us. So yeah.
Yes, and so that seems to be the case. And but we're back this week, and we are going to do our best. We are live actually on YouTube because it's been a while since we've posted anything on the YouTube channel. We're preparing some stuff, but as of yet, we haven't completely. So if you are watching us on YouTube, or if you happen to just open this one recording, then welcome back. We're back, and if it's the first time you've ever gotten to this channel, then welcome to. So Kickin Streamin Podcast, as usual, we stream. We only talk about what we've streamed on the particular streaming channels. And this week we are reviewing the series Blockbuster. I want to call it a sitcom, a Netflix sitcom. It's called Blockbuster, starring the very beloved Randall Park, Melissa Fumero, and absolutely fantastic little cast that I happen to kind of fall in love with, to be honest with you, Jojo. So we are going to talk about this for a moment, but also we are going to be touching, because there's another thing I want to discuss, and I want to dedicate a part of this recording to talk about this. Is, our streaming channels really good at creating and producing sitcoms, or is there an actual utility to network TV in that respect? Because I feel some type of way about this series, even though I like this series. But I feel some type of way about this series because there's something missing, and to me, that is what network TV does for sitcoms that I can't quite find in streaming. So we've all binge watched a sitcom on Netflix or on Hulu or anywhere. We've all done that, but it is typically when the sitcom from a network TV transfers to one of those. So those elements of network TV still there, those elements that I can't quite put my finger on, right? But when it is a sitcom that is produced and recorded and made for the actual sitcom, the actual streaming platform, I don't know. There's something about it that is missing. I don't find it quite appealing, even if the show is a very good one. So we'll be talking about this, Jojo. But tell me what you thought of it.
So it took me a while to kind of get into this show. I'll be honest. I thought that it was. I think some of my quibbles with it are similar to what you've just been discussing, but I it kind of felt like at the beginning there, every single line was more plot exposition. There's
Mhm.
there's like a scene there's a line from one of my favorite movies, which is let's see, the Great Muppet Caper, and Miss Piggy breaks into the office of Diana Rigg, Lady Diana Rigg, who is a plays a fashion designer in this movie, and for some reason, Diana Rigg decides to tell Miss Piggy the plot of the whole movie, basically. And Miss Piggy goes, "Why are you telling me all this?" and Diana Rigg, of course, in character goes, "It's plot exposition, darling. It has to go somewhere." And that's kind of what I felt like through this whole thing. Like every so often there would be a line I was like, "Okay, I get it. We need to know more about these characters, and this is how you're going to do it. But oh my God, don't shove it down my throat."
Yes.
Yeah, but I have to say there were some lines in here that really made me laugh. And
Dude, yes. I found myself so okay. My wife started watching this with me, right?
mhm.
And she was complaining the entire time. I don't like this. This is stupid. This is not good and whatever. And I've learned to stay with it, me especially if I'm watching it to discuss on the show. So I'm like, okay, let's see how far I can go with this. And then, like you said, there's a couple of lines that started appearing every now and then, and I'm like, oh damn, I'm glad I stayed through this. Look, we're going to have a lot to talk about on this show, Jojo. We're going to talk a lot about this one. But before we go any further, Jojo,
Mhm.
I don't know. We haven't talked about this in a while. Did you watch anything interesting this week? Oh, this past week, actually.
I well, I've only really watched my regular stuff. I haven't started anything new because life and health and fun things like that. But I have to say that this season of Bob's Burgers has been fantastic so far. It is really, really great. It's available on Hulu, and I just if you're not a Bob's Burgers fan, it's fine, but I would love for everybody who is to give it a try, and but this season has just been fantastic. So one of the better seasons I think I've seen in a while.
The weird thing is, Jojo, I've been meaning to get into the Bob's Burger thing because it sounds like fun, and I know so many people that blurt out lines from Bob's Burger, and I know how much you like Bob's Burger because we've talked about almost every time uh, we talk about shows people should watch that
Mhm.
you know shows that people have passed on, like I do. I've passed on Bob's Burger forever, but I know that I should watch it because you like it. And I know enough people that like it. So what season are they in right now?
I think this is either season 11 or season 12 if anybody is watching and wants to correct me or Google it and find out, but it's getting up there in age. Not quite Simpsons level, but yeah, it's lasted much longer than I expected. Which makes me happy because I love the show and I can't say that last season was my favorite, so I was kind of like, "Oh no, it's kind of starting to go downhill a little bit," but this season has been really, really good. I think it's either 11 or 12.
So is it fair to say that they've been around for about 6 or 7 years? Because I know that in the US we have always spring season and fall season, which makes it about 2 seasons per year. Um, so they've
It
been
actually
around, let's say, 8 years, maybe.
they started in 2011.
Oh,
So,
2011.
yeah,
That's
so they've
11 years already.
11 years. It's been 11 years. So this is actually the season 13. So I was completely wrong. So season 13.
Yo.
This is
Okay,
season
so
13. Lucky 13.
I've got to catch up, man. I have got to catch up. Mm,
Yeah.
mm.
Yeah, I just love it. It had some great guest stars. This last episode, they actually because there's always a song in Bob's Burgers. There is always a song. Um and an original song. And this last episode was they actually Billy Idol is referenced quite a bit in the episode, and at the end of the episode, the song, they actually got Billy Idol to sing the song, which I think was just fantastic. So it's hilarious because he sings it so tongue in cheek. It's fantastic.
Oh, that's funny stuff, man.
What about you? What have you been watching? Are you still watching the Korean shows?
Yo, yeah, I haven't been able to stop.
Uh-huh.
So I've gone through over the last few days since the last time we did the show, I think. I've gone through two shows. One was a 16 episode one and the other one was a 20 episode one. And I think probably I would have stopped by now watching Korean shows, except that there are very few things that I watch that I get into that my wife actually likes.
Mm.
You know, so as I've mentioned before, if I start something and she starts watching it and starts complaining, this is stupid, this is this is not good, I don't know why you watch this. Sometimes I stay with it just because, okay, I like it myself, so get out of here. But sometimes it kind of bums me out, so I'm like, oh, okay, maybe you're right. So, but the Korean shows actually. So, just to give you an idea, one day we were talking. She was at work, and she told me, "Ugh, I wish I had stayed home and just watched this Korean show." And I'm like, "Oh, nice. So you are into something here, aren't you?" you know.
Got her hooked. That's good.
Yes, yes, yes. But I've got so the one before the last I watched was called 100 Days, My Prince. And again, those Korean shows are a combination of, romance and history and, martial arts. They have everything.
Mhm.
But again, I think I poached about 3 songs in there for my playlist. But I think I've got about 23 songs already on my playlist. Um and so that was, I think it was about a 16 episode, 3 really beautiful songs that I actually liked. And so I Shazam and boom, put on my playlist. Then after that, I watched one called uh Rookie Historian Gu Hairung. So it's it's also a beautiful little show, but this one, it kind of takes you a minute to get into it because there are a lot of comedic elements to it that until you get the groove of it, you kind of don't get it. And then after a while, you kind of get accustomed to those characters that are like particularly designed to be comedic. And so you get into it and you realize, oh, again, a combination of all of those things that I said before, plus a little bit of ridicule and comic. So it is a beautiful, beautiful thing. And of course, I finished, I think the last time we spoke, I talked about The Alchemy of Souls,
Mhm.
which is by far, I would say, maybe the best one I've seen. The Alchemy of Souls has a bit of um, science fiction to it. And so this is what makes it way much more interesting. So the first season is on Netflix, but the second season actually, because The Alchemy of Souls is not a new show. I think it's a 2019 maybe, but second season now premieres in December.
Okay.
And so it was a good time for me to have watched Alchemy of Souls because now I'm ready for season 2.
Yeah.
And when I tell you, I cannot wait. I cannot wait for Alchemy of Souls season 2. But yeah, I'm having fun, Jojo. I encourage you to watch at least one of those, man. If you watch one of those, you'll get hooked. And
Where
I fear that I've not do it a lot of the greatest favors by talking about sometimes, the corniness of the overly romantic power ballads and the watching in the distance and walking about and stuff. But the thing is that you get used to these things, and it becomes it becomes part of it, and you're like, "Oh, this is an essential element of it, and why not?" You know what I mean?
Hmm. Yeah.
So I just want you to watch one and tell me what you think, to be honest.
Okay. So where can we find them?
Netflix.
Netflix. Okay.
Netflix. I haven't watched anything out of Netflix, but of course there's a whole library of stuff. So Viki is a an app strictly of Korean drama. Uh, some of it is for free, and some of it you can also buy a membership. But I thought to myself, well, why get a membership to Viki when there's so much on Netflix I haven't watched? So I'm doing that, and maybe if I get to a point where there are things on Netflix that I'm no longer interested in for whatever reason, then I'll probably go through Viki. But now I'm at the point where I have favorite actors and shit that I'm looking for and stuff. And it's really cool, man. It's really, really cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah, Jojo. So just find one, watch it, and tell me what you think. Because I think there's something there, man. There's something there.
I trust you. I trust you. So yeah, I just
All right, Jojo. So let's talk about this show, Blockbuster, and I am going to ask you to do the magic of sort of like putting, synopsizing this show for us, and then we'll go from there, right?
all right. Sounds good.
All right.
So this is the story of the last Blockbuster video store in the United States. Not a true story, but I guess sort of based on true events. And it is a sitcom, office humor type show. Each episode's about less than half an hour, and it is about the owner of the last store just trying to stay open. And there's a little bit, of course, of romantic chemistry going on, and then there's the rest of the crew that hangs out at the store or is employees of the store. And it's just a comedy about a kind of a doomed environment and trying to keep your head above water.
Yes, and I think that's the best way to put it. Really, like there's a lot more about this show, to be honest with you, but there's no point in going into all of the details because that's exactly where it fits. I have to say, for instance, I personally I love the premise of the show, and I think it's a great idea. I think it's a great idea because we all know that there is, in fact, an actual, last Blockbuster somewhere. I think it's somewhere in Alaska, something
I,
like that.
I think so. I think it's still open.
Yes, and so that is a good idea. I love it. Okay, Charlie's here visiting, so Charlie, yeah, Charlie, get out, man. Thanks very much. Thank you very much. All right. So the idea is not a terrible one. Now, um, I for some reason the show itself is very good, but as I was saying before, there is an element of it's almost as if network TV have the magic. Network TVs that have the magic of sitcom, and it doesn't seem to me that it's something that streaming platforms quite get, and I don't know what it is. Do you think you know, Jojo?
I don't think I know, but I have a theory. I have a theory that it's based on pacing. My theory is that networks know and it's been this way forever, that you've got to have this show and you've got to have it every week, and you've got to have it at a particular time, and you're going to have this show. You have to have this show one way or the other. So you're going to have, your staff, you're going to have your producers, you're going to have everybody ready to go. And, you don't make the whole season at once. It comes out every week, and everybody works, for months making it and putting it on the air. So it's not quite real time, it's not quite live like in the days of Lucy, but it's a little, I Love Lucy, but it's a little closer to that. So I kind of think there's a sense of urgency, and in that, also in network, you still have the news element, because they still have newsrooms in most of the networks, and they still have news folks and producers that will move from the news side over into production of shows. So I that's just my theory, is that television, network television, has kind of an edge in that they know they don't have unlimited time, they don't have an unlimited budget, and they're going to make this work, because it's not like they can just, because to cancel a show on network is a big deal. So they are going to have done a lot of work and a lot of prep work to make sure that this goes okay. So to just straight up cancel a show before the season is over really tells you how crappy the show is doing. So I think that might be part of it. That's just my theory, though, because I know that streaming services like Netflix, for example, releases everything at once, which is fantastic. But at the same time, I don't think it really gives a chance to kind of work the characters out over a real time, if you will, because a network sitcom, those people are getting together and working every week, every month for the whole season, and then they take their summer break, and then they come back and they're working in real time. So they're developing relationships with each other, as opposed to, say, a Netflix sitcom or a Netflix movie, where you just get together and you shoot this thing in a couple weeks and that's it. So, because I think we've all seen series of things that have been network related where the first season maybe wasn't the best of a sitcom, but then it was still funny, you're good, but maybe it wasn't the best. And then, like by like year or 2 or 3, you're like, oh gosh, the cast is really melded, and the writers all know each other, and that kind of thing. But like I said, that's my theory.
Yeah, and I support this theory, because I was thinking about it when I was watching the show. I started thinking, how many sitcoms have failed through Netflix? And also, they don't seem to fail as much on Hulu. And it got me thinking, well, the thing about Hulu is that Hulu will take stuff from network TV and then just almost in a simultaneous fashion, put it out there for those who don't do network TV. But all the network TV element stays within it. And that's what I think. So I think about One Day at a Time, for instance. I think about Fuller House or whatever. A whole lot of sitcoms that Netflix has tried to do. And it just seems like once the first season comes out, then people is like, yeah, at least for me, that's the case. So here's what I think happens. I think the thing about sitcoms is that it inevitably becomes a water cooler type of situation for everyone involved, because we're used to catchphrases that come out of sitcoms. We are used to relationships that blossom through sitcoms, and it becomes a thing that we get used to waiting for every week. And even though I am not a fan of streaming platforms releasing weekly episodes of things, I actually think that it would be beneficial for Netflix to get into this thing of, if it is a sitcom, why not release it on, on a weekly basis? The reason I say this is because I've binge watched sitcoms on Netflix, but they are not Netflix produced sitcoms.
Right.
I Last summer I binge watched all the seasons to Community, and I liked it, but it still had the TV sitcom element that I'm talking about. And on Hulu, of course, you can choose not to have ads on Hulu. But again, when you watch, I don't know, Reservoir Dogs on Hulu, or you know, um, How I Met Your Father, which is another sitcom on Hulu, produced by Hulu or FX or whatever, you still get that. And I don't know what it is about Netflix that they can't seem to get that. It's even, I don't feel like the lighting is right. It's too filmy,
Yeah,
you
I
know.
agree with that. I agree with that. Yep.
It's too filmy. It's too cinematic.
Yeah.
It doesn't have the homely, you know, almost didn't get made type of feeling that you get from sitcoms. And I think in that respect, it worked in detriment of this particular show, because here's the thing: the premise of this show is good, the cast is good, and I like a whole lot of things about it. Um, I like the sense of kind of like The Office meet, you know, Superstore. What was it? The retail store thing that
I think it was
America Ferrera is in.
I think it was Superstore, wasn't it?
Superstore,
I
like,
think so.
yeah, like,
Yeah.
there's that vibe,
Yeah.
and we all grew to like these people in a way. We're all still big fans of The Office, Community, and all that. And all that vibe is there. But I wonder if something could be different if there is a next season to the show, and Netflix decided, you know what, let's release this show on a weekly basis, because it's not like Netflix hasn't tried that model before.
Hmm.
I mean, whenever they've done, shows that are similar to late night TV shows and things like that, they do it on a weekly basis. Hassan Minaj, uh, Chelsea Handler. I mean, it's not like they can't do it. What I think they want, what I would suggest they do is first bring in people from network TV who probably know what the sauce, what the missing sauce is. Insert those people into the production of the shows, and then create a weekly model, and maybe something about, because this show, if it does not made that way, I think it's going to fail, and it's not the show's fault. Remember, I told you that when we were chatting about it.
Yeah.
It's not the show's fault. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree, because like you said, the premise is great. There is some good writing possibilities going on here. Um I like the cast for the most part. I like the characters, and but I agree with you that something is off, something is wrong. I don't know if you said something that about Hulu, about ads, and I do wonder if it's possibly pacing too, because like Hulu is still making things with advertising in mind, so there's going to be an editing mindset of, okay, we're going to have a break at this point, and that can be used to make a cinematic point, or a storyline point, or a plot point, or whatever you want to call it. So I don't know if that's it. But yeah, like I feel like this show could have been like a big hit if ABC had made it.
Yes, ABC, NBC. CBS is not particularly very good at that, except for when they do find something that's good, like you know,
When they get
uh,
it right, they get it right, but it
when they
doesn't
get it
happen very
right.
often.
Absolutely, you're right. But I think again, I think we are onto something here, because also there could be that could be the issue. The network TV sitcoms, obviously, each segment lasts about 7 minutes, and you laugh, boom, 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 but you get a moment to kind of like regroup with the commercials or whatever happens, and then boom, and the even when there is no commercials, they kind of introduce you to the next segment with just those little tritonal bang, bang, bang,
Yep. Yeah, you get like a little
thingy.
pause and a little like a brain cue to be like, okay,
Yes,
something we're going to a new chapter now.
exactly, exactly. And that doesn't happen with these sitcoms created by Netflix. And so what it feels like for the most part is that the actors are working extra hard to deliver those lines to either make you laugh or to make you feel what is happening there. And so you don't have that intermission moment that, network TV sitcoms offer. And again, the thing is, when you translate network TV sitcoms onto Netflix or Hulu or something like that, those pauses exist, even if you don't insert commercials there, but they exist, and it gives you the sense that you are moving on again to another chapter. Netflix doesn't seem to do that. And also, I don't understand why, if canned laughter is such an important element of sitcoms, even though we know that the public is not there or whatever, some of them are, why not do that? You know, why not?
Yeah, I actually was going to say that um because there are still shows that are filmed in front of a live studio audience, and some of the best sitcoms that ever existed, that going back, were always recorded in front of a live studio audience.
Right.
And I think that the actors too, of those that are playing in front of a live studio audience, there's going to be a different energy there, and there's going to be a different, like improvisation, improv work, and different there's just going to be a difference to that. So yeah, that may be part of it too. And like you said, even if canned laughter is kind of like a, oh, what, a bad thing to do, well, then in that case, you're Netflix, you could probably afford a live studio audience.
Yes.
You probably have
Yes.
enough people working from home that could watch it on Zoom. So
Jesus. Yes. Yes. Yes.
so if it added, if it added this missing element, this sauce, as you called it, which I liked, and made a show successful, and added that extra spark, then for heaven's sakes, why not? But yeah, yeah, I agree. Something's just missing, and it's just a little bland.
Yeah. And all of this is to say that if you watch this show, if you watch Blockbuster, and you feel like something is amiss, it's not the show's fault, because it's actually a very good show. I feel like Randall Park is very good at this. And I've seen Randall Park both doing really dramatic stuff in comedic stuff. And Randall Park is an absolutely consummated actor.
He's
Uh,
fantastic.
he's great, and he's a lovable dude too. Like I when I see Randall Park, I want to smile. So he's very good at this, but you can feel that he's he's working extra, and everybody else, JB Smoove, who's also JB, you can believe everything JB Smoove does in any comedy show. He can be a sleazebag, he can be a doctor, he can be uh, whatever you want him to be, and it works. And I think there's a fantastic chemistry between JB Smoove and Randall Park, and there's a fantastic chemistry among the entire cast. So there's no reason this shouldn't work, except for the things that we've talked about, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. Agreed.
Yeah. So talk to me about this show. What are your favorite things about it, and what things you feel like could be frowned upon?
I like Randall Park. I like his performance. I think he does a good job with it. I think some of the writing is a little um I don't know what the correct quite the right word is, but a little a little hard, trying too hard maybe, or pushing too hard, but at the same time there are some lines that are just flat out hilarious in this, and they're just delivered incredibly well by the cast that does them. So it's not 100% bad writing. There's just a few things that could be cleaned up.
And
I
perhaps Jojo,
Mhm.
if after those lines were delivered, there was a bit of laughter, it could probably fix whatever it is
Some of
that's
the
wrong with it.
awkwardness is yeah.
Exactly, exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, I think so.
Um, I like the character of Connie. I think that I think the actress who plays Connie is fantastic, and I think Connie as a character is probably a little overlooked, or she could be she I think was written to be very cliched, but the actress who plays her does not play her that way. And I love the way that the actress plays Connie, and I love the accent that she drops every so often when she's talking.
Yes,
When she was
yes.
talking about telenovelas and that kind of thing, and she dropped into the proper accent. I was like, well, I know Graham's gonna like that. But it also made me be like, okay, yes, she feels like a real person,
Yes.
so that was great. And the character of Hannah as this sort of sweet summer child is
I actually love Hannah, dude. Like, I loved Hannah.
Hannah she's just adorable and sweet.
She's
And
freaking hilarious.
I think all of us at some point have known someone, if not with all of those qualities, has known someone with Hannah-esque qualities. So
Oh my God, yes. Yes, yes, yes.
yes. Yes. So there's a lot to like in this show. There's more to like than to hate. And like I just wish I do wish that a network had picked it up. Honestly, ABC is the first one that came to mind, and it just feels like it would be a good ABC show.
And you know what? Randall Park has a good relationship with ABC, given the fact that, Fresh Off the Boat, I think, was on ABC, wasn't it? Fresh Off the Boat. Was it Fresh Off the Boat from ABC?
I
Um,
am not entirely sure. I'm
it
sorry.
was him and Connie Chung. No, it's not Connie Chung. What's her name? Constance Wu. Um, yeah, Fresh Off the Boat. Let me see. Yeah, it was on ABC. Wasn't it?
Yeah, ABC. It was on
Yeah.
for 6 seasons was produced by 20th Century Fox for ABC.
Yeah. So there's a relationship there, but again, I I'm not against Netflix having the show, but I just think that they could do a bit more to make it more homely and less cinematic or whatever it is.
I
Uh,
don't I don't think they understand sitcom. I just don't think they get sitcom series for whatever reason.
yeah, that could be the case. Hey, thanks for all the love. 69mega.com, whatever it is that to is that yeah. Thanks very
Yeah,
much.
thanks for the
um
love. Like hearts. Hearts are good.
yeah, hearts are good. Yeah. So let's actually talk about the cast here, because the surprising thing perhaps about the show is actually the cast, right? Um so we have Melissa Fumero as what is her name? Eliza?
Eliza, yeah.
Yes. Um, to be honest with you, I was kind of not championing Eliza with Timmy for some reason. I don't know why. I think like when Timmy found this new girl, I was like, I think Timmy belongs here. You know what I mean? Because everything felt a bit too slanted for me, and it was like I don't know if I like them better as friends, and it would be awkward for me as a viewer if they got into a whole relationship. I think they both should just date other people.
Yeah, I that is a part of the show I did not like. I didn't like the sort of forced relationship, romantic relationship that was being pushed between them. I can't say I particularly enjoyed the performance of the actress who played Eliza. I don't know, something about it just kind of didn't do it for me. I didn't really feel any chemistry between her and Randall Park, or she and Randall Park. So I don't know, like you said, it just they were better as friends, and writing wise, story wise, it's more interesting to have them as friends than romantic interests, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think I don't. You're right in the sense that it's true that there was something about the character that the actress didn't quite uh, grasp. But I don't necessarily think that it's her fault as an actress, but rather the character itself is a bit, uh, I don't know, bland. And
Yeah, the writing
she
there's a
seemed
bit
to have
lacking.
worked particularly harder to make this character work,
Yeah.
and and you could feel it, isn't it?
Yeah. It just to me, for me, it didn't work. I just didn't care for her.
Yeah.
I appreciated the effort, but
The character of Randall Park, uh, I feel like s- it seems to me that Randall Park sort of like edited this character a bit more than the way it was written, because otherwise it would have been another cliche Asian American character. And Randall Park kind of like, nope, that's not going to happen here. You know, even though there were some big cliche, the overbearing, Korean parents and blah blah blah. Some cliches you just can't run away from, because you know that's the way it is. Not necessarily stereotypical, but s- it's how do you have a Haitian character that's not bragging about Haitian music and Haitian food? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just these things make the character a bit real, even when stereotypical. So, in that respect, but there's a lot more about the character that I think Randall Park rejected and sort of like made something better out of it. Do you think I'm overthinking this?
no, I don't think so at all, because I don't see him being involved in something that um or allowing himself to be involved in something where they were just basically, you know, throwing stereotypes and that kind of thing. So, but I do think based on the writing of some of the other characters that it probably did start out that way. And Randall Park was like, "Yeah, no, let's not go that way. Let's not
Let's
go in
just
that
don't do
direction."
that. Yeah,
Yeah. Do you
let's
want
not do
me
that ever.
if you want me to be involved, let's bring in this writer.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Uh, what did you think of the character of Carlos? Which it's weird because in the beginning they started calling this character Lowe's, and then all of a sudden they dropped the whole Lowe's and they flat out started calling him Carlos and never called him Lowe's any ever again. So I don't know if somebody figured out this is not working. Let's just change
Yeah, I'm not quite sure what happened there either.
that.
I don't know.
Yeah. So, what do you think of Tyler Alvarez playing Carlos? What do you think of this character?
I honestly don't, this is terrible, but I don't really have much of an opinion one way or the other. He didn't really um stand out for me as in either way. How about you?
I I think that there could be more of this character than everything they attempted for him to be.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
Mm-hmm.
it's a character that tells you bits of a story, but not an entire story. Not a story that kind of like comes together and you know functions. When you um attempt to figure out his background, you don't quite get it, other than he's the child of immigrants, and he's studying accounting when he really wants to be a, a filmmaker.
Yeah.
But that to me is slightly cliche, in the sense that the generation where in which he belongs is not necessarily the child of immigrant generation that is doing what mom and dad said.
Mm-hmm.
Do you see what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah. You're right.
Maybe my generation, or even some of the earlier born millennials, decided, yeah, I'm just gonna do what my parents want. But not his generation. He seemed like, in the character itself is an either late '90s, early 2000s character. They ain't doing shit because mom and dad said so. you know,
Yeah.
if you okay, so if you can come out to your immigrant parents as bisexual, there's no way you're having qualms about telling them that you don't want to be an accountant and all you want to be is a filmmaker, because this is the era of fucking Alfonso Cuarón, and like these people have seen Hollywood, big Hollywood filmmakers, y- Alejandro González Iñárritu, and like they'll be like, yeah, well, go make your dream come true. Like the whole idea of like, oh, if you're a child of immigrant, you don't get to have dreams. Maybe that was true at one point for one generation, for a few generations, but not the generations that Carlos belongs to. And I'm not saying I'm not. Maybe I'm generalizing a little bit, but that's what I'm trying to say here, is that it's just that for a kid his age, in terms of the character, that doesn't necessarily seem to be the case. That's
That
it for me.
makes that makes perfect sense. It would make more sense if they were talking about the Timmy character, the Randall Park character.
Yes,
That would
yes,
fit more for him. But yeah, no, I agree with that 100%, because it's just, yeah, it was kind of like they just threw a lot of stuff at the wall, as you said, and tried to make a person out of it, and it just didn't come out very well.
yeah, no, no. But I love the actor. I think he's really good. He has some really good lines. Okay. Do you want me to tell you what was my favorite? What was your favorite line? Let's start with what line stood with you, and like you had to pause this thing and laugh.
Well, for me, it was, oh gosh, I can't remember exactly what it was, but it was when Connie was asking, what's her name?
Hannah?
Eliza what she was gonna be doing, for the night,
Oh yes.
and it was like, she was gonna be watching TV and eating a sandwich, and Connie was like, "That's the best night of your life. What is your worst?" But then she was like, they were gonna be watching what was basically Squid Games, but whatever the name of the show that they gave, I just busted out laughing because it was
It
just
was Trout
fantastic.
Royale. Trout
That's it.
Royale.
Trout Royale was fantastic. I'm like, okay, that is perfect. Trout Royale. Like, that's almost better than Squid Games.
Dude, yes, yes. Trout Royale. It was a Korean show.
Yes. Yes. I'm like, oh man. Man. It's a shame that got taken. I totally watched that show.
Dude. Someone has to come up with a Trout Royale, man.
Yes, Trout Royale. Yes. I just
Okay.
that lost me. I cackled for quite a while over that.
So it seems like both of our favorite lines came off of Connie, because Hannah was saying something completely outrageous, And she said, I find white ladies boring, but not you. I'm like, oh my God, that is awesome.
Oh God, I laughed at that one too. I find
But
most white ladies, but yes, it's just pure of heart. I find most white ladies so boring, but
But
not
not
you.
you. I was like, yo, I have to use this line, even if it's with my wife. Oh God. This show is just so I'm sorry. I'm freaking
She's
crying over.
she's such a fantastic actress. She brought so much to that
Oh
character.
God. Yes.
Because
Yes.
Connie could have been just lost in the weeds there, but I'm gonna mispronounce her name. Is it Olga Merediz?
Olga
Merediz?
Merediz.
Merediz. Okay.
Yeah. Olga
Yeah.
Merediz. And by the way, she's been around for a long time. She's been on a lot of things, including she had like a fantastic role in The Heights, that
Yes.
big HBO movie, uh, which was the very first off-Broadway production of Lin-Manuel Miranda back in the day. And also, I think she was on One Step at a Time. Or no, was she? No, I don't think so. It was
Let's see. It looks like she was in Orange is the New Black.
yes.
She was on a show called Bounty Hunters. She's been on many, many things. She was on an after school special from in 1985. That's fantastic. That makes me happy.
I'm telling you, man, she is something else. She's yeah, I love this lady. I've seen her in everything, and I think I want to say that she was in Encanto. She was Abuela Alma Madrigal in Encanto as the singing voice. Yeah, man. I mean, she's some. I think she's the best casting in this show because her lines are awesome. She delivers them uh, like no one else can, and yeah, I'd love to see more of her because she's the heart of the show.
She is good.
What did you think? Well, Madeleine Arthur played Hannah, and I thought she was a ginger for real. She's not. But the character is so ginger.
She was very good in this. I liked her. I liked her in this. Well, she was in the series that you were watching for a bit, the Snowpiercer. Weren't you watching Snowpiercer? No, you're watching Hannah. Never mind.
Yeah.
But she was in she's been acting for a while to be so young. She's been a little kid. X-Files and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, she's. Do you know what I like about her character? Is that she's one of those characters that you feel there's something more to her than the dumb little ginger. Like she might wind up being, smarter than everyone else, except that she just hasn't fully discovered her own potential or something like that. Because you can tell that there's a lot more to her than that. And I think her, Madeleine Arthur, as the actress who portrays Hannah, has done quite the good job at portraying someone who you probably don't feel like you should just box in the she's the dumb one in the show,
Right.
but rather there are more layers from her that you can peel off, right? What do you think of Kamaya Fairburn as Kayla, the absolutely insufferable teenage girl who hates everybody, including her parents are first in line.
she's she's I had a word and an adjective in mind and it went poof. But yeah, she's fierce. She's I did oh, she's good in it. She is good. She's English, it looks like. She was raised in Toronto, the actress. Um, but yeah, her character, she played an insufferable teen very well.
Yes, yes, yeah. And then you come to realize they actually have some love inside them. And like, they play these shallow characters and stuff, and then all of a sudden you realize, oh, they actually care. They just hate showing that they care,
Yeah.
and it almost that they're mad at the fact that they care. You
Mhm.
know, she did a great job with that. You
Yeah,
know,
she did.
JB Smoove, of course, like I said, this dude can play anything. You can just throw him. I did feel like he delivers his lines a bit. So I feel that he's got a great chemistry with Randall Park,
Mhm.
but he doesn't have that much of a chemistry with the actress who plays his daughter. So
No, I agree.
their interactions are a bit awkward,
Mhm.
and not in the sense of awkward between a father who's walking on eggshell around his teenage daughter, but rather just doesn't feel like there's a rapport, there's a parental relationship. Like the father daughter thing doesn't seem to make it for these two actors, and I don't know why.
I agree. I didn't feel it either. So, not sure.
Yeah,
But I do love JB Smoove.
I freaking love JB. Jesus, this dude has been around forever, and
Fantastic
it's
name
it's
too.
like yeah, smooth.
Smoove.
Yeah, yeah, I love it. Right. So again, this is a fantastic little sitcom, and I hope that somewhere somebody in the Netflix sphere discovers this discussion that we've had and realize, yeah, maybe these two, you know, podcasters might have, a point, and maybe we should apply some of this because, like I said, it's not a bad show. It's just the fact that it's on Netflix, maybe
Yeah.
the problem here.
Yeah. I honestly think that's 100% it. I think that with some network TV pizzazz and a little bit of cleaned up writing that um it could be great.
Fantastic. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. And I know you are too, Georgia, right? Yeah,
That's
right.
right. That's-
Right. So we have arrived to the end of the show. We cannot thank you enough for watching. If you're watching on YouTube, and if you are, and of course, please subscribe so that you can discover more of our content. We have been a bit amiss, if you will, on YouTube for a while, but this is why we decided we don't do a lot of live shows. Typically, we will record this show and then edit it out and put a smaller version of it. But you know, this was a good show to talk about, and we hope you enjoyed the live discussion between myself and Jojo. Um, if you also are as a listener of this podcast, if you're listening, please be aware that we probably will be changing very soon the publishing days of our show. So if you are accustomed to receiving Kicking and Streaming, um, the podcast on Tuesdays, we will let you know with anticipation what day that's going to be. It's most likely going to be either Wednesday or Thursday, but there's going to be a slight change in terms of the delivery of the show. But other than that, nothing else will change. We're still going to be coming every week as much as we can and giving you some ideas of what you could watch and why we like it and why we think it's worth watching. Right, Jojo?
That's right.
If you would like to find us on social media, we are on Twitter and on Instagram. We also have a Facebook group if you still do Facebook. But on Twitter and on Instagram, we are Kickin and Streamin _podcast. And you can find Jojo on Instagram as
KNS co-host.
that is KNS co-host. Meanwhile, for me, you'll find me on Instagram and on Twitter as Mr. Puzzetta. That's MRPUZZETTA. We have had quite a bit of fun talking about this show. We hope you watch it and like it. And tell us what you think by going to our website, which is kickinandstreamingpodcast.com. Leave us a note, or also you can send us a voice note. There is a way to do that on our website if you look for it. It's a little microphone. You'll find it. Right, Jojo?
That's right.
And while you're on our website, if you feel like buying us a coffee, you can do that too. Just click on the little button and you can make a contribution. Now that, the Christmases are approaching, we'll take what you got if you're willing to give it. We'll thank
Yes.
you in advance for that, right?
Absolutely, 100%.
Well, then, we want to thank you for watching. We want to thank you for listening. This is for me, and for Jojo, this is goodbye.
Bye, everybody. Thank you. Thank you for listening to Kickin and Streamin Podcast. If you found value in our content, please subscribe and share. We would also be delighted to hear what you think of this podcast. So please rate us by writing a quick review on Apple Podcasts or your favorite podcast platform. Follow us on all major social media platforms such as Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Pinterest. Join the conversation happening today on our Facebook group.